Michael Carnevale is branch manager and financial advisor, securities offered through Raymond James Financial Services Incorporated, 400 Southbridge Street in Auburn, Massachusetts, 1-800-657-9126. A member of FINRA SIPC and are not deposits, not insured by FDIC or any governmental agency, not guaranteed by Webster 5 Cent Savings Bank, and subject to risk, may lose value. Webster 5 Cent Savings Bank is not affiliated with Raymond James Financial Services Incorporated. The information contained in this report does not purport to be a complete description of the securities markets or developments referred to in the material. The information has been obtained from sources considered to be reliable, but we do not guarantee that the foregoing material is accurate or complete. Any information is not a complete summary or statement of all available data necessary for making an investment decision and does not constitute a recommendation. Any opinions are those of Michael Carnevale and not necessarily those of RJFS or Raymond James. Expressions of opinion are as of this date and are subject to change without notice.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Long Hill Report. Your host, Richard Morco, and our leading money guy, Mike Carnevale. And we're back here for July. And it's been an interesting month because crazy things are still happening. Of course, last month, just a few weeks ago, it looked like Mother Nature was trying to make Massachusetts into a desert, as the heat was tremendous. But you know that, so why am I bringing it up? So yesterday, our president was, where was they, in NATO?
Yes.
In
Belgium, was it?
Luxembourg.
Luxembourg.
And they were talking about wonderful things like the president of Syria is the nicest guy in the world. They don't mention he is a member, sort of, kind of Al-Qaeda. Anybody know what happened with Al-Qaeda in 9/11? Anybody want to think? And there's our president doing everything but French kiss the guy. What is going on in this world? Now, gas prices look a little weird, but what's happening to the Strategic Petroleum Reserve? Do you know where that is now?
No.
It ain't high.
I would imagine it's pretty depleted.
It's getting there. And yet, the man is singing, "Everything is beautiful."
Well, it's interesting, you know, I mean, just when you think things are really crazy, they become crazier, right? You got, forget about the Washington situation, you got the political situation in Maine, and has anyone seen McConnell lately?
You mean seen him awake?
Yes. I mean, this is, crazy. I mean, it's like...
His wife
is in China.
And the guy's in a car or semi or whatever he's in.
You don't know.
You don't know.
He's either alive or dead. That's about the only two things he could be.
Okay, I'm going to tell you. I read something, or I heard something about a week or two ago. Who was the senator from California who had been the mayor of... she became mayor of San Francisco when Moscone was shot.
Oh, yeah. Feinstein.
Feinstein is a senator, but nobody sees her for months.
Well, we had the other person, I think he was a senator, was missing for 4 months, and it turns out he was being treated for depression.
Well, was he really missing?
No.
Are they any of them really?
No.
And somebody brought up the point when they brought up the Feinstein thing. Congress is cosplaying. It's not real stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, they're all told what to do.
Yeah.
All right, you know. Yeah. Not that we're cynical here.
No.
No, we're straight arrows.
Oh, of course.
Real.
But it's like, you can't make this stuff up.
Well, I do admit it. Who was the Lily Tomlin? I do live by what she said. Do you know what she said?
No.
No matter how cynical I get, I just can't keep up.
Oh. Yeah, it's just, and you know, come back in August, it'll be worse.
Well, you know, everybody's hoping, can you settle something? The memorandum of understanding? Yeah, okay, we're pretending. We all
Right.
know we're pretending
Right.
on that.
Yes.
But then he goes back to war.
Mm-hmm.
Because maybe Iran threw a firecracker. And you
Yep.
remember how they were all saying, they hate the government in Iran.
Yeah.
We're going in there to help them. And then they have the funeral for the guy we killed
Yes.
with Israel. And it looks like everybody in the country, and a
Shut
lot
up.
of people from outside of the country, I
Yeah.
couldn't get a ticket.
Okay.
Let me admit it.
All right.
Is there saying he's the, you know, they're just adoring the guy.
Yeah.
And we're supposed to believe the people hate him.
Yeah. You know, obviously a big mistake. In
What was a big mistake? Well,
going in there.
you really think
Yes.
so?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I,
And to this point, now he can't get out.
well, you know, look, the Democrats, in the first Trump administration, Adam, what's his name, Schiff?
Schiff. Yes.
Yeah. He was big on indicting and impeaching Trump. Big on it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it was found out. Mueller could not. Mueller said, I don't have anything.
Mm-hmm.
He says, I don't have anything. And so we didn't indict Trump. Now, Trump starts an illegal war. Where's Adam Schiff?
Yeah.
He's okay with that
Yeah.
war.
Silent.
Where are the Democrats?
They're
I
all
mean,
silent.
You know, this is starting a war without congressional approval. Not that we haven't done that in the 21st century before.
Mm-hmm.
Not that we haven't done it actually in the late 20th century. But we start this war, and it's like, well, we got to do something. So anyway, let's go and talk about money. And June.
That's another crazy situation. Yeah. How can the market be doing as well as it has after what we just talked for the past 4 or 5 minutes?
Okay, I'm going to actually not make an excuse, but make an excuse.
Okay.
How long have we been doing this together? And how long were you doing it with himself before Dick Vaughn?
This got to be going on 10 years.
Yeah, this has been quite a while.
Yeah.
And we keep going up, and we keep going up, and we keep going. But why? Now we're doing it still. Don't we just do this?
I guess so.
I mean, of course, I've always said, is it real money? Is it real or is it memorized?
Okay. Well, half of it's real.
You always say that.
Yeah.
You say, you know, I say, wait a minute. Is this inflation? Well, half of it's inflation.
Yeah.
And
Long-term inflation is, you know, in the 4s. The long-term return for the S&P 500 is in the 9s. So, yeah, about half of it is inflation.
I would say, my disagreement would say, I would say, actually 7/8 is inflation. But you know more than I do. I'm just a peasant here.
Okay.
Humble guy and proud of it. So I'm not going to, you know, go crazy here.
Okay.
But again, I recycle Willie Tomlin.
I hear you.
But June. 8th
Usually June is not a good month, but the prior 3 Junes were positive, and of course now it's 4 straight positive Junes.
So we got to hit you up. What's going on, Mike? Why is it the world? This has been a few years now. We've been
Yeah.
turning things around.
Yeah.
Is it a paradigm shift?
Well, I think it was lower interest rates, obviously more productivity with technology and now the AI.
Is that AI real?
Oh, I think it is. Yeah, I think a lot of people have, oh, well, not a lot, but I think people have lost their jobs already because of it. And that's going to, again, it remains to be seen how all this ends, but the front end of this is all positive. Eventually, it could all be negative, too.
Wait.
If
I need a pen. Quickly, I gotta get
Yes.
this. I gotta get this down.
permanent marker use. It's great that, we see on the jobless claims and stuff, and fewer and fewer people laid off, the size of the labor market keeps shrinking. That's all good short term, but eventually, if you don't find, well, whatever the next is, it could all be negative. If it comes to a time where nobody's working, that's not going to be positive. You can always do with, less workers, just from a profit standpoint, but it gets to a point where you go too far, and then it starts hurting the economy, right? I think we've seen all the positives up to this point. AI is going to do, there's going to be many cost savings, and that's going to go to the bottom line, and that's going to lead to corporate profits being higher, which is going to allow the value of companies to be higher, and of course then their stock prices to be higher. That's all positive. Up until the next thing, whatever the next thing is, and no one knows. Then it could all be negative.
Question, mon ami.
Go ahead.
And we translate that from the French. A question, my friend.
Yes.
How does my Carnevale use AI?
Funny you should mention that.
I thought it was an aspect of humor there.
Yeah.
Funny is right. Yeah.
You're being forced to use it.
How do you use it was the question.
Well,
Does somebody come in and say, Mike,
no.
okay, how are you forced to use it?
But for instance, when we communicate with the home office, it used to be, you pick up the telephone, you talk to a live person, right? Now they developed a AI, and I don't know if it's a program, but an AI thing, where you never talk to a live person. You type in your question, and it types you back. The voice comes back with the answer.
Did they let go of somebody to do that?
Well, they'll never tell you, but I haven't heard that they have. They got the phones now, right? It's a computer-generated voice. When you call, you get, let me, please hold the line. Let me see if I can contact. And you should see how they say my name.
Mickey Carnevale? How do you say it? How do they say it?
They got Michael right, but it should be Carnevale. It sounded like Carnevale, and it's kind of hilarious, really. So these things aren't perfect, but that's the way things are going now. But yeah, now there's the parent company that holds my licenses I'm talking about now. They've got their own proprietary AI, and yeah, now it's like, 6 months ago, you never interacted that way. 3 months ago, yeah, it was noticeable now it's noticeable when you're not doing that. And it's all the thing is, it's faster and more accurate. Because if you ask it a question, you're going to get the answer, as opposed to if you call someone and say, hey, that's a good thing. I really don't know. Can I put you on hold for a couple of minutes and see if I can find that for you? So there is a benefit.
Well, a few things here about that, Mike. we didn't know how to tell you this,
Go ahead.
but we've got this machine that's coming in because it's more accurate. So next month,
Oh. Well, I think financial services in general are not going to be around 10 or 20 years from now in the form that they are now.
that should scare a young guy like you.
It's not going to matter to me, but to
I tried to compliment you.
Oh,
and call you
okay.
a young guy.
but to people in their 30s and 40s, and even the people who are like in their early 50s, it's going to be difficult because a lot of the firms are already doing that.
I suspect.
And-
They have it, you know, Gemini. I don't know if you use
Yeah,
Gemini.
I've
So
heard of
like,
it.
I'll ask a question about equipment for
Mm-hmm.
the garden or something, and it comes out back with different stuffs. I've caught it in a few errors,
Okay.
but that doesn't mean I'm a genius in any sense.
No, I hear you.
Things contradicted. It is contradicted.
Mm-hmm.
It will say we're searching Google, things like that.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Yeah.
So it's, yeah, like this, like the tide. It's going to be. You can't stop.
Right. No. So I think that's all beneficial in the short run, but what comes after that is going to be, you know,
Stay tuned, folks.
I mean, you know, you gotta go into. I mean, if I was starting it all over again, right? And you're starting to see this with like colleges that are closing, right? You got to go into a profession that you use your hands because everything
You
else
gotta
is going
go
to be
into a trade.
replaced. Trade, yes.
That
Yeah.
you know, that was what they were selling. You know, oh, we don't need these real jobs. We can code.
Right.
Good luck with that.
Correct. Yeah. Those jobs are going.
Yeah.
You know. But you know, the market for the month of June, 7 all-time highs, gained 1,300 points, 2.5% in a month. It also ended the second quarter. The last 3 months, this is hard to believe. The Dow's gained almost 6,000 points in the last 3 months. That works out to 13% in 3 months. We've gone from 47,000 in the Dow past 52,000. And for the year, we're up 9%. And that's the worst index. The NASDAQ and the S&P have done better. So it's been a crazy first 6 months, and it was the best first 6 months since 2021.
Don't you just love war?
Yeah. And what has happened in the past 6 months? Inflation, high energy prices, the Middle East, all this stuff. And you're having the best 6 months in 5 years? I mean, I think a lot of it, and why is that? Everyone's got their own opinion, but I mean, historically the stock market looks to the future, and I think so. I'm going to say it's because they're betting on the midterm elections. That'll be the beginning of the end of all this. And if it isn't, then it could be tough in the second, in the second half, and especially in the beginning of the new year.
The elections, so basically it's saying Democrats.
Right.
And it's saying we're counting on them to do something.
Right.
I have nothing else to say.
Yeah. Wall Street is a big Democratic Party organization.
Yeah.
You wouldn't think it would be, but it is. And so that's what it's telling me. Yeah, I'm not so sure, I mean, I think it will swing, but it wouldn't surprise me if it didn't.
Well, I don't know if I said this last month. Do you know who Lee Kuan Yew was?
No.
He was the guy who made Singapore what it was.
Okay.
Singapore was this just British naval base, and the Japanese beat the hell out of the Brits there, knocked them all out. It changed everything. But then again, the Japanese didn't end the war. So what do you do with Singapore after the war? He did something. He was the guy. He took over the place. And he did a number of things. He said, first, we're only speaking English. We're not doing Malay, Chinese, everywhere. English is the language of business in the world. That's what we speak here. Mm-hmm. One of the other things that he said, we're air conditioning the place. It was one of these sweat houses, tropical sweat houses. We're air conditioning the place. You can't have a civilization in this part of the world without air conditioning. And he did about a billion other things. He ran the most successful place in this world. And I've sworn, from what I've seen in people running this country, I will never vote for president again in an election unless I can believe that it's the reincarnation of Lee Kuan Yew. Because everybody who runs for office in this country is a loser. Not everybody, I should say, but most of them are. Mm-hmm. And who said that? Alexis de Tocqueville, the greatest writer on the American state ever. So, you want to believe something can happen in the next midterms, next election? I pray you're right.
Mm-hmm. I don't think it's going to be a dramatic change.
I'm glad you said that.
But it's going to be
a change.
A change from the current. And that's probably what the market is hoping for.
And if the Democrats can say, you know what this change is, it's a just stop change. We want, the people are saying, just stop.
Right.
Will they take that lesson?
Probably not.
There are no further questions, Your Honor.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go to the technicals. We got to move along here.
All right. So not a lot of change really in the technicals, and that's surprising because with the big move that the market had, but it had prior big moves in like April and May. So short-term sentiment actually improved a bit during the month of June. A lot of the technical indicators stayed about where they are. So that would kind of tell me that for July, you're probably not going to see anything radical. Certainly nothing that's going to signal a big drop. The Fed met, of course. It was Kevin Warsh's first meeting as the chairperson, and the press conference did not go over well. When they voted unanimously not to cut rates, which really wasn't a surprise.
No.
When he talked, they had the shortest policy statement ever. Usually page and page and page. It was very short. And as he was talking, you looked at the Dow, and the longer he talked, the more it dropped. And I think during the course of his speech, from 2:30 p.m. to almost 3:30, the market dropped about 700 points. He said a lot of. I wouldn't say a lot of scary things, but more questions than answers. We're gonna maybe rethink how we report information. We may not have press conferences every single time. That makes it more and open for more and more for people to speculate what's going on. He stayed away from the we got to cut interest rates.
Well, I think people would have.
Which
that wouldn't have been the smartest thing.
No,
to have.
but whereas prior Fed people, especially Bernanke and Powell definitely, and even Yellen, would try to explain what the Fed was thinking. He wouldn't do that. He would just stuck by what they, you know, when people tried to ask him that, you know, like, well, based on this, what do you think about that? Oh, I don't answer hypothetical questions. What we did today was we decided to keep the Fed funds rate at 3.5 to 3.75%. He just kept repeating stuff that you already knew. There was no like insight as to what they were thinking. So again, it was his first one. You know, when you do something for the first time, right, you usually make changes after that. But if he does stop the monthly, the 6-week press conferences, I think that will be unsettling, because then that leaves it open to interpretation, speculation by people, and that's usually not good.
700 points he spoke. So we're not going to bring back Greenspan at all, I take it.
Not on Earth, we're not. Made it to be 100, and you know, he was the second longest serving Fed chairman. Both Democrats and Republicans presidents nominated him, and Congress approved him. He went through a lot of crises, and most people think he did a good job. He was married twice, both to women whose last names were the same, but they weren't related.
So the first time, did he become a widow, or was it a divorce?
It was a divorce.
It was a divorce. So he went out looking for somebody of the same name.
It happened to be the same last name, I guess.
Well, I would have picked another name, because you know, if you didn't work it out with the first time, maybe affecting a change is not the worst idea.
Maybe. And he was a musician.
Do you know he was an associate of Ayn Rand?
Okay.
Big free market guy early on, and he wrote a book about it.
Okay.
That the free market, you know, a free market is everything, you know, gold, things like that should be. And then he gets into office, and he serves as a typical, except he had a lot of things he had to do because it was a busy time. And so he was in the mold of everybody who serves.
Right.
And then he gets out, and they said, well, the way you did everything, you must not believe in what you wrote. And he said, I wouldn't change one word of it. Hey, what do I know?
Yeah. But certainly the one we have in now, certainly really qualified. I mean, there's no question about it. The style is different.
What a qualification.
Well, he's, you know, got a finance background, economics background.
You know what they say in America? In America, you know what an intellectual is?
Go ahead.
Somebody who did well in school. Yeah. So you've got, you know, you've got all these people who do this, and he's qualified. That you'll say he's qualified because he went to school, he studied hard, he got whatever degree he needed, and stuff like that.
He served on the Fed.
So does that really mean he actually knows what he's doing?
Well, yeah, I think compared to someone who has no background at all, probably.
Okay. We're getting on. I probably have told you this about how they had, the Congress was saying, we got to get a handle on the economy. So they invite every economist in the world to speak. And old Southern Senator says, you're the last person that we have here. You all say something different. Is there anybody who knows what they're talking about? Well, there's actually two. One's with the Bank of England, and there's a guy with Rothschilds in Paris. Ah, at last, we know what we're talking about. What do they say? They disagree. So, you know,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's all open to interpretation, I guess.
but he's qualified.
But he's qualified.
Okay. Well, Mike will be writing a paper on what is the qualification. We'll have it for you in the next millennium.
Yes.
All right, so let's get this. So we basically, SpaceX. Did you get your shares?
No, but anybody who bought it in the aftermarket, they're all losing money right now. Because it was priced at $135 a share. It started trading at $150, and as we talk
But
today,
if you
it's
bought it at the market,
Yes.
you're underwater now.
yes.
So everybody's underwater.
No, well, the initial public offering was $135 a share. So if you were lucky to get there, you still get a little profit. But the first trade was $150. Everybody who's bought it since is underwater. But it was the largest IPO in history. Musk becomes the first trillionaire. And the question becomes, and you know, now firms are coming out with research reports on SpaceX and whatnot. A lot of big price projections. I mean, the question becomes is, you know, okay, you know, you missed Microsoft, you missed Apple, you missed Google, you missed Netflix, you missed Amazon. Is this the next big thing? So you read the research reports stuff and you say, this thing is nuts. Well, they say the same thing about the personal computer. They say, so you don't know. It might be the next big thing.
But the personal computer, the big money was made after it got out into the world.
Right.
There was no big moment like that.
Right. Right.
This
Right.
is just hype. Well, maybe it isn't. I don't know. What do I know?
Don't know, but probably at some point there's a future in it. But all those other big names that were hot initial public offerings, before they actually turned around and really made it long term, they all lost close to 70% of their value. So it could go down quite a bit.
Well,
But we're not predicting anything here.
okay, I'm going to go out with this one. The future lies ahead.
Yes.
Quote me.
Okay.
All right, so we got to move along quickly here. Inflation.
It's higher, no surprise there. But up until yesterday, maybe meaningless because oil was coming down. It looked like things in Iran were quieting down. We now know that's changed. So maybe inflation is going to continue to be a problem. It certainly was up to the reporting, which was only through May. We know since May, oil has really come down like 30%. So you would think that maybe inflation is on the downside, but now we're back in Iran, and so maybe we're not. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
Leading economic indicators, same story, negative again, nothing great, nothing positive there, other than that the declines are getting less and less, but they're still declining. Jobless claims still remain really low. In order to hurt the economy, you need about 250,000 people laid off a week. We're nowhere near that. The latest number, which came out last Thursday, was 215,000. In the employment report, you need 150,000 new non-farm jobs to grow the economy. The latest report, which was May, showed non-farm payrolls up by 172,000. So more of the same, I think. Unemployment staying at 4.3%. You know, wages are up about 3.5% over the past year, which is less than inflation. So there's no real pressure from wage growth to fuel inflation. So I keep looking at energy, and you know, the economic stuff doesn't look bad.
You don't say that with absolute confidence.
Well, from what we know today, you know, as soon as we go dark here, it all could change. you know, subject to change at a moment's notice, and you know. But I mean, so far, you look at all these economic reports that come out month after month after month. There's nothing in them that says, "Well, wait a minute, things are really getting worse." It's just kind of plodding along. You know, unemployment is not going up, job creation is not going down, layoffs are not going up, and that's been month after month. That's been, you know, a couple of years now. So until that changes,
So,
and the people who were betting it was going to change, they're the people who got out when the Dow was 40,000. So, right? It's kind of where we are today.
so ladies and gentlemen, we've basically come to the end of our little tete-a-tete here. We're speaking with Mike the Optimist.
Well, we hate to keep bringing good news. Maybe stay tuned. Maybe next month we can bring some bad news.
Well, at the beginning of this, we didn't.
Well, that was all on the political side.
Okay. I did.
Now we're in with the stock market. We're in the fantasy
Yeah.
side.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back next month. This is Mike Carnevale, Richard Morco, the Long Hill Report. Stay tuned.